Welcome, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and it is Saturday night, and we're alive, and it's for all of you and all of us, the Global Peace Tribe. Welcome. Tonight's a really beautiful show. We've already had a lovely conversation with some of our guests, and it's going to be a more interactive show, so we really want to hear from you. So I want to invite all of you watching on the various Facebook channels, on YouTube, come on into our Zoom room. It's really easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and you'll see where it says register for season 6. And that's where we are right now. We're right now in the middle of season 6. This is our 73rd consecutive show. We started when the pandemic began. We never knew it was going to grow like this, but here we are, and we're really excited to have all of you with us. And tonight's theme is healing the collective wound through the power of love. I think many of us are big fans of the Beatles, and we all think of the song, All You Need Is Love. But you know, I actually wish they had made it do everything with love. Do everything with love. Because that's what's magical. And I want to acknowledge that our regular co-host and my co-creator of the show, Deborah Giusti, is on vacation in Costa Rica. But I have the incredible pleasure to work with somebody who does everything with love. She's an embodiment of that. And of course, I'm talking about Kristin Hoffmann. Kristin is my co-producer, my collaborator. She brought in most of our guests for tonight's show. She really crafted the theme. And as I've been working with her, and I've had the joy of working with her, she does everything with love. And she's a perfectionist, but she still is very loving in her communications and loving and always thinking about all of the people involved. So with no further ado, I am so grateful that I get to work with my wonderful co-host for tonight and collaborator, the wonderful Kristin Hoffmann.
Oh, thank you, Scott. I can't imagine a more wonderful love being than yourself to work with on this show. It is an honor to be with you all again tonight, exploring the theme of collective healing through the power of love. After all, love is an energy, the highest energy that we are all a part of, we can all tap into, and we all have moments when we forget to tap into it. So tonight, we are calling in the love. We've been through a lot as a human family and as a planetary family. And just like the human body, we can carry wounds. Some are on the surface, some are wounds that we can see readily. And some are deeper wounds from the past, from our ancestors, from our fears. And these are not just human wounds. These are planetary wounds. What is our planet? What is our Mother Gaia calling for? What is she calling for healing? How can we listen on a deeper level to each other, to the human family, to the animal kingdoms, to the plant kingdoms, and to our planet as a whole, to the cosmos? How can we listen with love? How can we call love in so that we can begin to heal from the deepest levels out? It's a beautiful journey. One thing that Caroline Myss was saying in the pre-talk is that love and God, however you want to see God, and Caroline can correct me if I'm misquoting, but this is what I got, that love is really interchangeable in a way with God. It's the highest energy. It's an energy that all of us can understand. And in calling love in, we are literally calling in and listening to the highest form of healing. And when we listen on this level, there is no other choice but healing. We literally call in healing now, in this moment. When we act with love, when we speak with love, when we live with love, both for ourselves and others, we are calling in the vibration of healing. And that is the beautiful message. And we are going to explore with some incredible speakers, healers, authors, musicians, dancers tonight. We have a true, incredible cast of sharing for you this evening. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our beautiful guests. So let me. Oh, Caroline, hello. Caroline Myss is with us tonight. Caroline, it's so beautiful to have you here. Caroline is a 5-time New York Times bestselling author and internationally renowned speaker in the fields of human consciousness, spirituality and mysticism, health, energy medicine, and the science of medical intuition. And she is just an all-around love being, wisdom holder, and I love you so much. You've been a life-changing author and being for me. So
it's so wonderful to be here with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. We're really looking forward to hearing from you in a bit. Love you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. Michael Bernard Beckwith is the founder and spiritual director of the Agape International Spiritual Center based in Los Angeles, California. Agape is a trans-denominational, multicultural community of tens of thousands of local, national, and international members and live streamers. We are really looking forward to hearing from Reverend Beckwith tonight. And we have Jerry Anderson, who is also our sponsor this evening. Jerry has over 40 years as a trance healer and has also trained and ordained over 100 healers. He was first legal guide to the vortexes in Sedona for 13 years, and he comes to us from the Mystic Monastery. Jerry, so wonderful to have you with us. And we have my dear, oh, what a beautiful being. I'm so excited to have Reverend Paulette Pipe with us. Oh, hello, Paulette. Paulette is a gifted meditation teacher, best known as the host of Touching the Stillness, the popular podcast for meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual practice. And we are in for a real treat very soon with Paulette. Welcome. We have Dr. Michelle LaMasa-Schrader with us tonight. I'm sorry, Dr. Michelle LaMasa-Dawson is co-director of Recall Healing International with a doctorate in mind-body medicine. She loves teaching individuals tools that enable them to make connections, claim past pain, and incorporate healthier ways of being. Michelle, it's so wonderful to have you and really looking forward to hearing from you.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our next speaker is Simurro. For 45 years, Simurro has been bringing forward the healing arts and ancient universal wisdom through writing, healing work, and teaching. It's such an honor to have you with us tonight. We're really looking forward to hearing from you.
So wonderful to be here.
Yay. Thank you. Our musicians tonight are yours truly. I will be sharing some music, and dear and incredibly powerful musician, Gilran Sharma. Gilran Sharma is the art director of international, cultural, and peace-seeking projects. He is an artist of Middle Eastern descent who carries an important message of a new generation, a generation that finds music as the best gateway to peace between neighbors and nations worldwide. Gilran will bring tears to your heart, tears to your eyes. He's just incredible. And we have Lale Sayoko, incredible dancer. We have collaborated many times. It's such an honor to have Lale here tonight. Lale Sayoko lives to embody and transmit the voice of spirit through music and dance. As a Sufi dance instructor, choreographer, performing artist, and musical curator, she loves to welcome people into this holy practice to explore and share their own divinity. Lale is going to be whirling with me in a bit, and you are really going to be brought to another level of peace and love. That concludes our incredible luminaries and creatives for the evening. And without further ado, let's move into our program. I would like to call Paulette Pipe to the screen. Reverend Paulette, I just have to say on a personal note, I met Paulette through the Evolutionary Leader Circle, where we are both members. And the minute I felt her loving radiance, it was love at first sight. And we sat down at a lunch and we just shared back and forth, back and forth. And since that day, a few years ago, we have collaborated and kept in contact. Paulette leads the most incredible meditations. And you're about to go on a deep journey. And when I was thinking about how to really dive deeper into this topic tonight, I thought Paulette is the perfect way to take us in. So Paulette's bio, let's see. Reverend Paulette Pipe is a gifted meditation teacher, best known as the host of Touching the Stillness, the popular podcast for meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual practice. Formerly spiritual director of the UK Unity headquarters, and then manager of the retreats department at Unity Village, Missouri. Today, Paulette heads Touching the Stillness Ministries, a vibrant organization she created to make meditation and mindfulness both practical and accessible for daily application. She is a member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and currently serves as its keeper of the flame, which means that Paulette holds the energy as all are in deep dialogue and healing and practice. So Paulette will hold the space for everyone. Paulette, please take us on your journey.
Thank you, and hello, everyone. So let's begin by closing your eyes if it's appropriate to do so that we close our outer eyes to any distraction. And then begin to breathe deeply. And the way to breathe deeply is to exhale fully. Scroll through your body temple and notice where there is any sensation or discomfort. And exhale your next breath to that place now. Feeling every part of you begin to relax some more. Your shoulders glide down from your ears. Your seat softens, and you uncurl your toes in your shoes. To begin our evening and set the arena, I'd like to offer this healing prayer, an interpretation of the Metta loving kindness blessing. So as you tune into your body, let these words be those intentions of your own heart. May my body be filled with loving kindness. May my body be healthy and strong. May my body be free from all suffering and discomfort. May my body express only the fullest and greatest expression of wholeness and well-being. May my body be filled with peace and ease, and may my body be imbued with the unconditional grace and love of the divine. Breathe in, breathe out, and let go some more. And silently affirm, I am a healing presence. I am a healing presence. And now radiate loving thoughts, loving energy to your family and loved ones, whether they are near or far, here on the planet or beyond the veil. May your body be filled with loving kindness. May your body be healthy and strong. May your body be free from all suffering and discomfort. And may your body express only the fullest and greatest expression of wholeness and well-being. May your body be filled with peace and ease. And may your body be imbued with the unconditional grace and love of the divine. Breathe in, breathe out, and affirm you are a healing presence. Radiate that out to your loved ones. You are a healing presence. Now bring your attention to your community and let these words be the blessing we confer on the body of the community. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be healthy and strong. May you be free from all suffering and discomfort. And may you express only the fullest and greatest expression of wholeness and well-being. May your community be filled with peace and ease. And may your community be imbued with the unconditional grace and love of the divine. Inhale and exhale. And affirm, we are a healing presence. We are a healing presence. Allow your next breath to submerge you more deeply into this still moment and bring to heart and mind your country. May your country be filled with loving kindness. May your country be healthy and strong. May your country be free from all suffering and discomfort. May your country express only the fullest and greatest expression of wholeness and well-being for all. And may your country be filled with peace and ease. And may your country and all its inhabitants, all beings in your country, be imbued with the unconditional grace and love of the divine. Breathe in, breathe out, and affirm you are a healing presence. Now in your mind's eye, visualize the globe of which we are part, a small part of the cosmos, a part that is calling forth healing into every aspect of itself now. And let these words radiate on your behalf as a healing intention for our world. May our world be filled with loving kindness. May our world be healthy and strong. May our world be free from all suffering and discomfort. and may our world express only the fullest and greatest expressions of wholeness and well-being. May our world be filled with sustainable peace and be at ease. And may our world be imbued with only the unconditional grace and love of the divine. Breathe that in. Exhale an expression of healing love to our planet and to all beings on the planet. The oceans, the sky, the trees, the forest, the faunas, the ocean, the animals, the insects, every inhabitant of our planet. And affirm all beings and our world are a healing presence. Now drop your attention into your heart space. Breathe in and breathe out as though you're breathing through your heart space at the center of your chest at heart level. Now, as you breathe in your next breath, exhale that breath up to the crown of your head and out through your head, out into the cosmos. Breathe in through your heart and exhale that breath through your lower body, through your limbs, your feet, into the core of the earth and beyond. Breathe in through your heart space and exhale to the left of you, expressing through your body, through your community, out into the world, out into the cosmos as a healing energy of love. Breathe into your heart space and exhale through the right of you, through your body, through your environment, out into your community and the world and beyond. And feel the interconnection of that love vibration circulating above, below, to the left, to the right, out in front, out behind, connecting us in consciousness. So we know in this coherent field that we are one. And that love knows no bounds and is a healing, powerful energy radiating out from each of us by intention. Breathe in and exhale. And feel that love flowing back to heal all wounds, all discord. And one more time, hold this intention. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we all be healthy and strong. May we be free from suffering and discomfort. And may our experience be only the fullest and greatest expressions of well-being and wholeness. And may we be filled with peace and be at ease. And may we be imbued with the unconditional grace and love of the divine. Now bring your hands to prayer position with your thumbs on your sternum. Take in a deep breath here. Exhale all the air. From that healed and whole place in me to that healed and whole place in you and our world, I now bow. Namaste. Blessed be.
Thank you so much, Paulette. Thank you. I know that was exactly what I needed, and I can feel just how the energy here grounded into the love and healing and peace that we're calling in. Thank you so much. I know Scott's going to come on and share a little bit about where we can find out more about you.
And I'm seeing just a flood of comments coming in. People saying, "Oh my gosh." I gotta say, you took me so high. It's like, okay, I have to come back down and I have to be grounded for another 2 hours to run this show. But boy, did you take me and all of us into a beautiful, beautiful place. Thank you so much. And thank you for the wonderful progression of starting with self and then community and until finally our entire planet. Thank you so much for that beautiful progression. You know, I often talk about how we only get a homeopathic dose of our presenters, but we always want to let people know how you can find out more. And Paulette has a beautiful website, and the name of her website so perfectly embodies what we just experienced. It's called touchingthestillness.org. Touchingthestillness.org. Paulette, as people go to your website, is there any particular place that you really want to direct them to?
Thank you, Scott. I would love if people would go to the show page and listen to the podcast for meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual practice. The podcast includes music, affirmations, and there's always the meditation that I lead every week and an activation of some kind. And then for a live event, you can go to the calendar page where you'll see information about the breathing space, which is a live event that I do on Zoom and then weekly on Zoom, bi-weekly and bi-monthly, and on Insight Timer weekly.
Beautiful.
And that's a gathering where we can all bring our energy and our intention together.
Wonderful.
Thank you for the opportunity to be in sacred service.
Thank you for just taking us all into such a beautiful state. And I want to encourage all of us, including especially everybody watching, let's do our best to let's stay in this space. Let's not get too distracted with our devices or other things, but let's maintain this space as we listen to Caroline and Michelle and C and all of our wonderful presenters and artists. And thank you again.
So Scott, I would be honored. What I do as part of my ministry is Keeper of the Flame, where I hold sacred space. I would be honored to hold the space for the rest of the evening to hold that energy that we've co-created already.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing, Paulette. Thank you so much. Wow. Oh, okay. Coming back into the body so that I can introduce our next guest. We are in for a treat. Our next guest is C. Simurro. And I have to say, my journey with C goes way back. Before I knew C in person, I used to read Wisdom magazine all the time. I had a little ritual. I would go to a vegetarian restaurant, my favorite one in Brooklyn, and I would take the Wisdom magazine that they had there and I would read the whole thing and eat a beautiful meal. And I was always struck by C's incredible totems column in Wisdom magazine. And I started playing soon after in or years later, actually. What am I saying soon after? I started playing years later in Massachusetts. And I noticed that this woman would come with her beautiful dog named Thunder. And after a couple of shows, C came up and introduced herself. And I said, I know you. You are a hero of mine because you help me stay connected to the natural world through your totems column. So C, it's an honor to have you here tonight. Let me just read a little bit about you. For over 45 years, C. Simurro has been bringing forward the healing arts and ancient universal wisdom through writing, healing work, and teaching. For 21 years, she has been contributing writer to Wisdom magazine, which publishes her totems column. During the pandemic, she was guided to write a series of 33 poems and 22 haikus, all on love. She is endeavoring to publish them in a chapter book called The Path of Love in the next few months. Tonight, she will be sharing poetry that is from that series. Perfect alignment. Perfect alignment. We are excited. Thank you, C, for being here with us. I love you.
Thank you, Kristin. And thank you so much for inviting me to be here. It's just so wonderful as we all become love and realize the love that we are. So I'm going to start by holding up a sign. And this sign was made for me. Can everybody see it?
A little bit higher, C, and back, just sit back.
Okay.
Sit back a little bit higher. There you go. Be kind to self, each other, and the natural world.
Yes. My daughter made this sign for me for my birthday last year. I gave her the text and she did the crafting. And I hang it on my front door so that I can be reminded visually every day what is most important in life. The more we establish sustainable and life-giving practices in every environment, the healthier life on Earth will be. Everything we need comes from Mother Earth. I mean, everything, one way or another: food, clothing, sustenance, livelihood, shelter, even the things we want but really don't need. We get our raw material from Mother Earth. And if we don't appreciate these resources with gratitude, then our values get skewed. We become more concerned with, making more money, predominating in the harvesting of the sacred resources of the planet. And as we're seeing every day now, such methods are killing us and all life on the planet. But each of us can make a difference. How? Well, we can support and buy from producers who are environmentally sustainable, and from organic producers of meat, plants, and other food products. We can buy less plastic and synthetic clothing. Do we really need all that packaging material? We can support solar energy and make sure that the wood in our homes doesn't come from rainforests or old growth forests. We can recycle and compost as much as possible. We can refuse to support practices that create industrial waste, poisonous farming practices, filthy water, and sterile land. Instead, choosing products that are non-toxic for growing plants or weeding. Okay, and by the way, weeds are wonderful. Most of them provide food for us or other species, or help neighboring plants. They may provide medicine for our bodies, tinder for our fires, food for our pollinators, and not least of all, beauty. Even the elements have given us gifts: the air for breathing, fire for energy, water for hydration and flow, and earth for solidity and sustenance. Most importantly, Earth has provided us with home. For 21 years, I've tried to show the unique abilities and characteristics of each species that I write about in my Totems column for Wisdom magazine, in order to open minds to appreciating them more each day. All species are deserving of our curiosity, respect, compassion, love. The more we learn about individual species, the more we will comprehend how grand the interlocking design of all life forms is, because nature is the grand designer. Each plant, tree, insect, crawler, water dweller, bird, and mammal can teach us how to survive and thrive. Consider this. Do humans know how to make food from light and water as plants do? Plants make enough to feed themselves and us. Can humans fly like birds? Can we pick up a scent or be aware of movement the way four-legged does? Do we care for others in our communities the way that some insects like ants do in their communities? Are we two-leggeds able to return home to the place of our birth without the use of conveyances, but instead relying on chemical and magnetic signals as salamanders do unerringly? Or smell our way to our birth river with nasal glands the way salmon do? Or for that matter, and I find this incredible, swim thousands of miles to the one place in the world where their parents spawned them as eels do? Can we live underground for 17 years like the brood 10 cicadas do? And can we agree to admire nature, who designed reptiles to be cold-blooded so that they need to consume 10 times less food than a warm-blooded mammal of the same size? Do humans know how to detect the perfect temperature in spring like maple trees do, with photosensors that measure light, so that at the perfect time, new buds unfurl to eventually become branches? Hallelujah! Those branches need food, so maple trees produce sap, and then we get to enjoy maple syrup, like I did this morning on my pancakes. I'm honored that my article, Reciprocity with Mother Earth, which speaks of these things in greater detail, just won an honorable mention in the Writer's Digest annual competition. But you can also go to Wisdom Magazine to read current and archived totems articles, and then you can pick out your favorite totem and possibly it's in there and you can learn more about it. For me, writing and healing have been two sides of a twirling coin for over 45 years. As Kristin mentioned, back in December, I began hearing a single line, and that line was "Be Love," in the middle of the night. And that became my first poem, which I wrote down when I awoke. And I kept thinking, every time this happened, I thought, well, this is the last one. But the phenomenon continued until there were 33 poems and 22 haikus. The Path of Love, A Way to Heal is the title of the book. And I'd like to share one of the poems from that. It's called Recreating the World, One R at a Time. Yes, the letter R. I'd like to create a zone of safety to which all could retreat while our world recollects. There is no while our world recollects how to operate from a place of love, returns to remembering our source is love, realizes that there is no sane choice other than doing no harm to ourselves, to other humans, to other life forms, and to the earth herself, refusing to wage attacks against the animals, insects, and plants with whom we share this planet, rejecting ever using poison for any reason, or spraying toxins on our food, instead fostering an environment that is nurturing and restorative to the things we want to grow. Until we are willing to reestablish a reciprocal relationship with all living things and respect the intelligence of each species. And until we learn to revere each other and protect the gifts we've been given, become intimate once again with the forces of nature, savoring the sights, the sounds, the smells, the taste, and the feel of life around us, appreciating that nature, the great designer, knew what she was doing, creating the perfect interdependence of species and cycles of nature, until we rediscover that the only safety we can ever have lies in our realization of love, in ourselves, each other, and all creation, until we choose love as our go-to, remembering who we are in all our possibilities, the world will be a scary place to live in. So let's choose love and begin now to create a million visions of the world the way it can still become. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And thank you for helping us to really remember nature. It's so important for us to do that. And I loved all of your different examples of totems, and all of our regular viewers have heard me say it many times, but in Global Peace Tribe, I really believe we are the imaginal cells of the butterfly finding each other in the soup of the dying caterpillar, the dying old paradigm, and all these little imaginal cells. Oh, look, there's C, look, there's Caroline, look, there's Michelle, look, there's the mystic abbot in the mystic monastery. And as we all find each other, we come together to create this new world. And so thank you for helping us to remember that, Sue.
Really my pleasure. Nature is such a gift to us.
Yes. I'm going to go to, you've got two websites. Connect with C. This is her primary website, and it's her name. I'm going to spell it for everybody. It's CIESIMURRO.com. CIESIMURRO.com. Simurro.com. And there's so many beautiful things here. Anything you want to make sure that people are aware of or go to?
You know, I like to let people follow their intuition, and there's a whole menu across the top. So if something feels like you want to explore it, please do. If you go to the home page, there we go. Go ahead. Nope, that's not the home page.
You know what? I just went to the totems book. Okay.
Well, that's a good thing, actually. Volume 1 is done, and I promised someone the other day that Volume 2 would be my next project after the Path of Love. So, yeah, I could be happy to send that to anyone, and all the information about it is there.
Thank you.
We'll all reconnect with nature.
And I'm actually very, very briefly, because we're running a little bit late, which tends to happen because everybody's so wonderful. Just a reminder also that you've got this wonderful website with all the wisdom magazines. And so that's Wisdom of the Heavens. And that's a great place to go for people to get all of your wonderful magazines. And thank you for
This is actually Wisdom's website. And if my article's in the Earth or in the Earth section.
Oh, I see. Okay, this was put in.
It's not mine. This is Wisdom's web.
My confusion.
That's fine.
Well,
can't go wrong.
Right and wrong. See, thank you so much. Like all of it.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Kristin, you've done it.
Oh, see, that was so amazing. You totally connected me, and I know everyone back to nature and the animal kingdoms and the web of life that we are a part of. Thank you so much. Your poem was incredible. Okay. Thank you, dear one. And I'm calling on Lale Sayoko. Lale Sayoko is in Japan right now, and it's morning for her. And oh, hello, Lale. Wonderful to see you. I am so excited to welcome you here. Lale is an incredible dancer and spiritual sacred whirler. I've known Lale for years. We have danced together many times, and I felt for this subject matter. It was so important to have Lale here, literally to co-create a song together and a whirling prayer. So we're going to dive. Oh, let me just read Lale's bio first before I tell you what we're going to do. A little bit about Lale. Lale Sayoko lives to embody and transmit the voice of spirit through music and dance. As a Sufi dance instructor, choreographer, performing artist, and musical curator, she loves to welcome people into this holy practice to explore and share their own divinity. She intermittently tours internationally with Bella Gaia, a live concert blending music, dance, technology, and NASA satellite imagery, inspired by the experience of astronauts viewing the Earth from space. About 6 years ago, Lale was forced to retire after a prolific dance career to support her young daughter through a life-threatening medical crisis. Several years later, she discovered that she could whirl as a form of prayer to support her daughter and began studying Sufi dance with Paris-based Sufi artist Rana Gorgani. In April 2018, Gorgani awarded her the International Sufi Dance Certification of SID UNESCO, granting her authority to teach Gorgani's method of Sufi dance training. And I have to just say that witnessing Lale's journey, healing journey with whirling and with her young daughter through the last few years has been so uplifting, so touching, and love-filled. And she's about to bring this incredible healing art to us now. We're going to dive into an improvisation. I'm going to play a Solom song, which is an improvisation. It has never been written, and I like to invite you to send your intentions into the field. Lale and I will be responding to the intentions that you all send, and the music and the dance will be created in this moment. So here we go. possibility of love you are. Hold in this moment the possibility of love you are. Be in this moment that possibility of love you are. Be in this moment that possibility of love you are.
Some of the words coming from our viewers are exquisite, stunning, no words, amazing, wow. These are all reading from the chat box. What a just exquisite combination. Thank you both so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lale. Always an honor to weave with you. Oh, come be with us. Thank you, dear one. Your pure grace, pure love, pure spirit. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you, everyone.
And Lale, we are. Where can we find you, Scott? Do you want to bring up Lale's Instagram?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up two things. This is Lale's Instagram page. I love what she's got in the upper left-hand corner. So we can find her on Instagram at Lale boy, I don't know.
Sayoko.
Sayoko. Oh, I got it. Lale Sayoko NYC. Okay. LALESAYOKO NYC, New York City. So that's her Instagram page. And Lale, you've got this other beautiful website. Tell us a little bit about Bella Gaia.
Oh, Bella Gaia. I'm working with Kristin actually for years, and then this is my husband's project, and then Kristin, you are the Bella Gaia ambassador, so you can explain about the Bella Gaia.
Well, we have had the pleasure of traveling with Bella Gaia for over 10 or 11 years now. And it's just an incredible journey that reconnects the viewer immediately to the essence of our Earth. We get to view our Earth from outer space, and then you get to experience live music and dance and whirling and that feeling of interconnectedness with all members of our human family. And we have had the joy of traveling together on many, many, many occasions, and more to come, more to come.
Yes, and then I'm the part of the ending performer for the Bella Gaia. I do one with Kristin's voice.
Yes, Lale is doing this incredible, the whole show ends with a whirling piece that we do together, Lale and I.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And I hope you'll come back and be with us again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lale.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kristin, Scott, everyone. Thank you.
So much love.
I just so appreciate having collaborators like Kristin who bring in all of her friends and the dance and the music and the meditation. And I want to acknowledge, we're going to hear from him a little bit later, but for those of you who didn't join us for the early Zoom Room show, I want to thank our sponsor. This is Jerry, the wild abbot of the Mystic Monastery. And we're going to be hearing from Jerry later on in the show. He's going to be helping to talk to us in the after show about healing. But I really wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Jerry for making this show possible. And thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you for inspiring the world.
So speaking of inspiration for the world, we started off really as a fundraiser. When the COVID started, we were doing a fundraising event. We had to switch from live to online, and Saturday Night Alive was born. And we've raised over $125,000 for individuals, organizations. Last week, we were raising money for our friend Mariela de la Paz, who's dealing with cancer. And tonight, we are asking to raise money for us, Saturday Night Alive. And I'm bringing on to, while I chat for a moment, we have a wonderful new way that you can donate. It's really easy. You just cell phone, and do you see that little picture with little dinosaur there? You take your cell phone, put it on camera mode, and then take it way up close to the screen, and bingo, you'll see at the top of your camera where you can open the donate button. And that gives you an opportunity to donate to us, Saturday Night Alive. And we're raising money now because we are really expanding. We've gotten so many requests to really connect you with each other. So we are building a very elaborate website where you'll be able to watch all of our shows live just by going to the website. You'll also be able to have access to all of the previous Saturday Night Live shows, as well as my shows that I do, Straight Talk on Friday night and Sacred Sunday on Sunday mornings. All those shows will be in the bank. And we're also going to take your favorite speakers and the segments that they've done. So for example, you want to see all the times Carolyn Myss has been on our show, you'll put her name in and her shows will come up and her segments will come up. It's a very elaborate project that we're doing. We're really excited about it, and we need your support. So please, it's really easy to donate, and it's all now tax deductible. We want to thank our friends at Unify, who we're working with. Of course, thousands of you watch us on Unify, and we're now working with them. So please do donate. Also, somebody needs to mute themselves because I'm hearing a lot of noise. So just a reminder to our wonderful presenters to keep yourselves muted when you're not speaking. And please do donate to us. And we're going to continue to do most of our fundraising for other people, other organizations. But tonight, it's for Saturday Night Alive. And so we really appreciate your support with that. So please do help us in that way. And we are already planning shows throughout the whole rest of the year. There's a lot of wonderful things that we're going to do that we're excited about, but we need your help. So thank you very, very much. I am now going to play our weekly Wisdom Jewels. And I want to acknowledge Jay Mayer and Jan, who create these Wisdom Jewels for us. No, Jay's not with us. I was going to put the spotlight on him. But this is really a fun feature of our weekly show, where we take quotes having to do with the topic, the theme of the night. And tonight's theme, of course, is collecting our collective wound, healing our collective wound through the power of love. So let's see what Wisdom Jewels Jay and Jan chose this week. So this is a good reminder that any of you that are still watching on Facebook or still watching on one of our YouTube channels, come on into the Zoom room. It's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com and that will bring you right into the Zoom room. Register so that we can connect with you more directly. So thank you, Jay and Jan, for creating the Wisdom Jewels. And now to introduce our keynote speaker, I'm turning it back over to Kristin.
Hello, everyone. It is a great honor to welcome and introduce Caroline Myss. On a personal note, when I first read Caroline's book, Anatomy of the Spirit, years ago, it was life-changing, so life-changing. It's hard to even express in words. So my heart is just filled with gratitude for the awakening that Caroline has provided me in my personal life and to the world. Her love, her wisdom is profound. Not only that, she's a great writer. So let me read a little bit about Caroline. Caroline Myss is a 5-time New York Times bestselling author and internationally renowned speaker in the fields of human consciousness, spirituality and mysticism, health, energy medicine, and the science of medical intuition. Caroline developed the field of energy anatomy, a science that correlates specific emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual stress patterns with diseases. Her research proved so accurate that it became the subject matter of a book co-written by Caroline and Norm, The Creation of Health. And Caroline has written many books. Her most recent book, which I have with me right here, and I'm sure Caroline will go into it more in depth with Scott at the end, but it's called Intimate Conversations with the Divine, Prayer, Guidance, and Grace. I highly, highly recommend that you go order it right now. And without further ado, Caroline, welcome. I love you.
It was a lovely introduction. Thank you. A little over generous. I thank you very much.
Oh, stop
It's
it.
wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the subject for tonight, I have to squeeze the incredible subject of healing the collective wound through love into a few minutes. So what I've done is try to find a jewel that might make a difference to you for the rest of your life. And if we were together for a seminar, and like the good old days when we could be in a class together, I would toss the question out, how should you understand the power of love? And my experience with people is that the association with love is very intimate, very romantic, very hallmark, very family, very friendly, like that kind of love. But you underestimate what love is by defining it as something personal. That's the last thing love is. That's the caboose on the train of love. What fascinated me about love, and therefore it's become kind of this object that I study, is that our relationship with something we crave so much, and yet we're so frightened of. We are drawn to love. We don't do well without it. And yet we're terrified to share it. We're actually terrified. We have to have these seminars on how to use love to heal wounds, but we never have seminars on how to be hateful or how to be destructive, because that comes so naturally to us. But it seems like love doesn't come naturally. It should, but it doesn't. Unless we're not understanding what love is, which is what I'm beginning to think might be the truth. I think that love is actually the name that we've given to how, as beings on earth, we experience the nature of God flowing within us. And the nature of God not mind you religious. I have no use for religion. The nature of God as the creative force of all that is. All life breathes together. So how we actually experience prana, the life force, the holy breath, is we experience it as love. And in the spectrum of love, as its destructive and creative nature, it's the whole of it. And so we are very judicious about this force that runs in us. We're very guarded about who we love, how we love, because we know how powerful it is. We know exactly how powerful this substance is. So we have to be very careful with how we use it. And so how we evolve is that we first evolve through the love of power until we evolve to understanding the power of love. And that is one way to describe the nature and the journey of life. So we first, all of us, go through the visceral. What is it we love? How do we love? I have to touch it. I have to feel it. I have to see the power of love and how it affects someone. When I withhold it, I have to see them crumble. Now that's power. I have to see them rise in front of me when I turn the faucet on again. I have to see the power of yes and the power of no, because that's love in action. Because it actually is watching the creative force flood through me. And we might not call it love, the love of stuff. Addiction is a form of love. It is what we are addicted to. It is a low-grade form, but it is power. What the great challenge of the heart, we could call it forgiveness, is learning to empower another person, to to give power to another person through love. Learning to use all that you are, your intuitive nature, the heart in you, to get your heart so big that you can sense what another needs, and to love big enough to raise them up. That's the real journey of healing. Not to love someone by giving them a blanket because there's been an earthquake, but to love through the empowerment to actually empower others, to actually say, God, give me the grace to run through me that I can help them with any of the gifts you've given me, that I can give them through me. Help me, the grace of understanding. God, grant me the grace of understanding that I may understand what it is they need and how I can articulate whatever I can give. That's how you pray. You pray like you're crazy because you know that God will throw that power into you, and you pray like you can, that you say that love becomes, that you really get that love is the power of creation, that it is the power of transformation, that every word you say is a prayer and an act of creation, that you know what one word can do to another person. You know it when you've been on the receiving end of an unkind word. You know what that does. We don't heal wounds by just saying, oh, just talk to me about what, that's nonsense. You heal by getting how you harmed. And you heal by the decision in you to say, that's it. I am now going to become a vessel for the power of love instead of the love of power. And that becomes your spiritual practice. That becomes your life practice, where you keep an eye on yourself. Every time you get in a power struggle, you're not in a power struggle. You're in a struggle for the life force. Call it what it is, the life love force. And you're making a decision to withhold love and life force from another human being. And however it works out with you or whatever reason, that's what's actually going on. That's what's actually going on. It's that you are struggling because you cannot allow life force to run through you to that person, and vice versa. Call it what it is. When somebody is near you and you know that they're looking for a compliment, and you can't bring yourself to do that, call it what it is. I am refusing to empower them with love. I don't want to do it. I want to make it difficult for them. And then sit down with yourself and say, you know what this is? Love is so powerful that I am afraid to even compliment somebody because I know that will empower them. And I'm not sure I want to do that. They have to earn that. The power of love. When you get to the place where you realize, you know what? Being kind and empowering others is the substance of transformation. And all life breathes together. What I do to one, I do to all. We are one collective body of life. And all I'm doing is loving myself by loving everybody else. And it isn't even love. It's a mystical substance. I'm past thinking about love as a personal force. For me, love is this mystical breath of God. And if it is kindness for one person, if it is patience for another, if it is for another person, I'm just letting them go in front of me in line at Whole Foods. I don't care. I don't care. I see it all now as if that all of creation is God. Every breath I take is breathing in all that is. All that is. And there's nothing else to do but live this force of love. And that's it. So I leave you. I'm going to leave you with a prayer because I have a prayer I want to share with you. But think about this journey, that the love of power takes your soul into difficult places, and the power of love brings it back. Okay? So you go one way, and I, as a medical intuitive, now, if I wrote the book on health and healing, etc., I would completely model it on when you are at that stage of your life where you're still battling love as a physical power, as power conflicts, as addiction, as the need for stuff, as that kind of thing. You're going to have a certain kind of life, and you will age at a certain speed, and et cetera, et cetera. And I can't explain that all now, but because how you're dealing with the life force and the vibration of what you call love, you will call God energy, because you don't get that it's grace. You won't even use holy language. But then there'll be a transition when you get the power of love, and that it's not personal. It simply is the life force that starts flowing through you, and you realize it has nothing to do with me. This is an impersonal universe that was not designed for me. It's going to be here long after I'm gone. And my role is to simply be as loving and abundant to others as I can while I'm here. And the more you are, the more you feel the force of God go through you. And that's what you call love. That's what we call love. So actually, I'm going to close on a prayer. It's real hard to squeeze me into a few minutes. Okay. Lord, every time I stand in the sunlight, let me be reminded of holy divine light and the power of love, especially when I'm not feeling loving. In those moments, let your love shine upon me that I may live that day as a channel of love for others. At the very least, prevent me from harming others, from passing to them any anger or personal suffering I might be feeling that day. Those issues are mine to heal. So lead me through the portal of love one day at a time and hover over me, Lord, on this holy journey of life. Amen. Bless you all. I'm sending you a big heart hug. Thank you.
Before you go away, Caroline, I just want to thank you. I
Oh,
also have the book. and
thank
it's
you.
by my dad. And here's what's wonderful about this book. What I so appreciate about Caroline is that she takes spiritual understanding and brings it into practical application. And so this book is filled with prayer and guidance and grace. I'm a big fan of Paramahansa Yogananda. And one of the things that I learned from him is he said that the greatest prayer is just maximum grace for this person, because we never know what's best for them, right? We don't know if it's best for them to get the job or not to get the job, or even to heal or not to heal.
Or even what healing is.
Right, or whatever the healing is, exactly. Maximum grace. And what's wonderful when I open this up and turn to it, it gives me insight and wisdom. And then what's the grace? What's the grace of clarity? Which is what I just turned to, by the way. What's the grace of these different things? So it's a really wonderful, wonderful book. Hard to show when we've got the little thing.
Thank you, Scott.
Oh,
Thank
God
you,
bless
Kristin.
you. It's this and one other book by Bruce, who was on our show recently, Bruce Lipton, are the two books that are on my bookshelf right by my bed.
Oh, bless your soul.
Mine's by my bed too. I like to just see where I land.
And what a
And-
gorgeous voice you have.
Oh,
I want to let people know where people can go to get and all things Caroline Myss. And that is her website. And it's very easy to remember it. It's her last name, myss.com. myss.com. And there's a lot going on there. Is there anything, Caroline, you want to direct people to?
Well, I'm doing a wonderful class right now with Robert Holden on the Enneagram, which is just delicious.
What do we find out about
I'm
that?
having the time of my life.
I'm guessing you're a 2 with the 3 wing.
No, I'm not. I'm a 1.
You're a 1.
And I knew nothing about, let me be clear here. I knew nothing about the Enneagram, but then I really developed an absolute deep respect because I became a student of Pythagoras. So I came in through Pythagoras and I studied Pythagoras, and then I thought, this has to, the Enneagram has to have its roots in Pythagoras. It has to, and in fact it did. And then that sold me. That sold me.
So
Because that,
people can still come in, they can still participate in that workshop?
yeah, oh my, I have to say that Robert Holden is such a magnificent teacher. And so doing this class, he teaches, and then I did the Enneagram, the second part of with him. He wanted me to do a spiritual meditation on it and a commentary, and I'm just enjoying it beyond. I have not enjoyed teaching with someone as much in donkey's years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, before you go, our beloved Kristin has a little special offering for you. And thank you again, Caroline, for
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you, Caroline. Well, that was one of the most profound talks on love that I have been present to. I'm so grateful for you just rooting that core understanding of when we transform from the love of power to the power of love. That's when we are truly living, breathing, co-creating together. Thank you. So, Caroline, I know you've received this gift once before because we were on our beloved sister Jenna's program in the fall. And when we were together on that program the night before, I was tapping into your new book and I suddenly got this huge musical download and I said, oh, I have to write this song down and just see if I can capture it. And the next day I played it for the first time for you, and now this is the second time, but I know this audience has never heard this song before, and it's just an honor to play it for you again in person.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, good. Well, here we go. Okay, let me get my ducks in a row over here. Hold on. Okay. This is called Sweet Divine. Sweet divine, you know my soul in intimate light. You guide me with a map of signs. Let me know that it's all right. It's all right. Sweet divine, when we speak in deepest prayer, in the silence feel you there, like you're always so aware of me. In these conversations, you help me see the way. These conversations, my unique offering. These conversations, the healing that is mine to claim. Oh, sweet divine. Sweet divine, in your gaze I'm never alone. You lead me back to heart and home. Help me hear the truest tone of who I am. Sweet divine, even when I'm living asleep, forgotten how to listen deep, you find a way to sing to me through the night. In these conversations, you help me see the way. These conversations, my unique offering. These conversations, the healing that is mine to claim. Oh, sweet divine, sweet divine. sweet divine. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline.
Mm,
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay.
And a
Let
reminder,
me come back into my body and remember what's next. Did you have a reminder?
yeah, what's next is Reverend Michael.
Oh, yes. And you're introducing. That's good because it'll give me a
You're
moment to
good,
come
you're
back
good.
in.
But I'm not going to let you go because since we just heard your amazing music, I do want to remind everybody to go to Kristin's website, KristinHoffmann.com. Note there's two N's at the end of her name. So it's Kristin, Kristin, Hoffmann, HOFFMANN.com. And when you go to her website, definitely register so that she can get your information. And I want to really encourage everybody to join her Patreon program. Patreon is a wonderful, wonderful way for us to support our musical artists. I support Kristin, as well as several other musicians that are part of our Saturday Night Alive Global Peace Tribe family. And Kristin gives a lot of wonderful things. I encourage everybody to become a Crown member because then you get to be part of these special experiences that she provides. So just go to KristinHoffmann.com, click membership, and then click member. And you can come in at $11, $33, or $77 a month. And at all three levels, you get really wonderful things. And the point is we've got to support our musical artists. You know, since the pandemic happened, so many of the ways that Kristin and our friends used to make their living aren't happening because concerts, festivals, even clubs, bars, and restaurants have been closed and are open and then closing again. So we receive their gifts in a whole new way on shows like this. And you can go to YouTube and you can, you know, get musical offerings from your favorite people, but then provide them support. Join Patreon and support your favorite musical artists, starting with our beloved Kristin. So
thanks so much, Scott. And I've started for my membership a monthly gathering, which I'm calling the Sonic Soul Family Gathering, which happens on the second Sunday of every month. And it's available to all membership levels. So come join me. We pick a different topic each month, and it's a mix of music and open sharing. And it's a beautiful family that's growing. And I'd love you to be a part of it.
And I just put into the chat box, and yes, it's Kristin, Kristin, Kristin. And I just put in the chat box where you can donate to her and join her program. And Susie, maybe if you could take that and put it on Facebook, please, that'd be great. I want to acknowledge our wonderful, with Deborah gone, this is Susie, and Susie is doing all of our links tonight. So thank you, Susie.
Thank you, Susie.
I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. All right. Well, about the only way we could have somebody as amazing as Caroline, what do you do? How do you follow with Caroline Myss? With Reverend Michael Beckwith. And Reverend Michael Beckwith has been on our show 3 times now. And to be honest, this is when he was on the show the very first time, last August, a year ago. And we did a show on quantum healing, and Reverend Michael came on and spoke and gave a prayer. And so this is a video recording, but it's powerful. And I'm sure most of you know Reverend Michael Beckwith. He is the founder of Agape International. It's become one of the largest, most powerful, non-denominational spiritual organizations in the world, providing incredible treatment on so many levels. I first met Reverend Michael 35 years ago. I first went to Agape when we were meeting on metal folding chairs, about 20 of us, in the basement of the Santa Monica Miramar Hotel. And I've watched him create this extraordinary ministry. He is the real deal. I've known him for 35 years. I've traveled to Jamaica with him. He's the real deal. He is a very everyday, all the time, spirit-focused person. In fact, about the only time I've ever seen him lose it was when we had him on the show and his phone rang and he couldn't turn it off in the middle of his presentation. It's about the only time I've ever seen him get flustered. It was quite sweet. Anyway, with no further ado, I invite all of us to drop in and really receive the power of the word from Reverend Michael Beckwith.
Brother Scott, it's my joy to be with you. Thank you for the invitation. When we talk about who we are as the light, in the quantum field, we are a whole perfect idea. We're a one-of-a-kind, unique expression of infinite potential that is always seeking to express itself by means of us according to our unique pattern. And so when we talk about quantum healing, we're talking about going back to the source, going back to having a spiritual realization of our innate wholeness. And when that begins to happen, then the mental body, the emotional body, the subtle bodies come, and the physical body come in harmony with the celestial body, which is light itself, which is perfect. Now, I can remember teaching a class a number of years ago, and at the end of the class, I said, who wants to be held in the group field of prayer? And a lady shot up her hand. Her name was Donna, and she doesn't mind me telling this particular story. And she said, Michael, I would love for you to pray that I get moved up on my kidney transplant list. I have a kidney disease that the doctors say cannot be handled without an operation. And will you pray that I get moved up on that list? And I said, Donna, why don't we work with healing the kidneys that you have? And she said, no. The doctor said that they've never seen this particular expression, this disease ever heal. We have to have an operation. And I said, I understand what the doctors have said. We work with the kidneys. And she said, no. And she was very adamant about that. All of a sudden, I thought about this story that Alan Watts shared. And Alan Watts talked about his wife always being late. And he would tell her, babe, listen, we have a meeting, don't be late. And she would inevitably be late. He would lie about the time, says we need to be there at 6 when we really needed to be there at 7. And she would find a way to be late. And then one day he was in New York City and he said, let's meet for lunch. But I remember I have a meeting. She was late. And so he's watching his mind go crazy. She's always late. She doesn't respect me. She doesn't respect my time. And then he heard the mind chatter. And he said to himself, my wife loves me. She respects me. She just has a casual relationship with time. He said, I'll take this time to meditate. While I'm waiting, I'll meditate. While I wait, I'll meditate. I heard that story in my mind. I said, Donna, while we're waiting for the transplant, why don't we try to heal your kidneys? And she said, yes. So all of the anxiety and all of the energy dissolved. And so then I asked the class, I said, how many of you today woke up and became very grateful that your kidneys are working? No one raised their hands. And so I said, this is what I want you to do. Every time you use the restroom today, I want you to bring Donna into your mind, and I want you to tap into the field and see her wholeness. We called it the PP prayer, praying while peeing. And we had the whole class do this. Donna, I gave her a book, and in the book, there was a chapter on physical healing. I told her, and there was a particular emphasis on the kidneys as a way of distilling toxins. I told her, read this book every single day and to begin to have a feeling of her own wholeness. So approximately a month later, we're meeting for their oral examinations. And Donna raises her hand very enthusiastically. And she says, my hip, Brother Scott, it's my joy to be with you. The class tapped into the field, and every time I told her, read this book every single day and to begin to have a feeling of her own wholeness. So approximately a month later, we're for their oral examinations. And Donna raises her hand very enthusiastically. And she says, my kidneys spontaneously healed. She went to the doctor, everything checked out. They wanted to do a slight operation on her to see why she forbid it. And to this day, and that was over 10 years ago, her kidneys are working. So what do? We allowed her to relax by having no attachment to an outcome. While we wait for the transplant, we'll work on your kidneys. And so in the waiting period, there was no attachment, there was no anxiety, there was no anxiousness about the healing. She just relaxed. The class tapped into the field, and every time they used the restroom for that 30 days, they brought Donna into their awareness, and they tapped into her wholeness, that perfect spiritual prototype that's impervious to time, impervious to experience and thought forms. And that's how they saw Donna. They didn't see her as an individual that was sick. They saw and felt her as an individual expression of the Most High God. And then Donna got her mind back by reading every single day about the possibility of physical healing, and then feeling into her own wholeness. The body temple began to respond, and it shifted her life. Not only did it shift her life in terms of the kidney, she began to exercise. She began to lose weight. She began to eat more nutritional food. She began to hydrate. She began to do things she wasn't doing before. So she had a total and radical shift in how she walked the planet. When we think about quantum healing, the quantum field is the unified field. We could call it divine consciousness. We can call it the field of unity. It's the field that I saw back in the 70s. It's the field that I see on a regular basis. The field that I saw 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was inundated into the light. Our role is to take our mind back from the worry, the doubt, the fear, the anxiety, all of those particular thought forms that create toxic chemicals that impede the immune system, get lodged in our nervous system, so that even when we're talking good about ourselves consciously, the nervous system has a memory of that anxiety that was captured by the worry. So we take back our mind where it was hijacked. We feel into our sense of wholeness. We invite the community to see the wholeness, and we do this with each other as we're speaking to each other this evening. We see each other as whole emanations, unique, one-of-a-kind expressions of infinite potential. Because this presence that is never an absence, never does a do-over, it never repeats itself, and it got you right the very first time. So there's nothing incurable. There's only incurable people who refuse to step out of the paradigm of the fear, the doubt, the worry, out of the paradigm of they're just a body. As Madhuri mentioned to us, we are vibrational beings. So as we lift our frequency with prayer, we lift our vibration with meditation, we lift our vibration with visioning, we lift our vibration with sacred service, we lift our vibration with the chant and the music and the dance, we lift our vibration by falling in love moment by moment by moment with the presence that is never an absence. Our vibration is lifted. We stabilize that lift with practice. We integrate the lift with practice, so that there's an integration that takes place with every insight that we have coming from the quantum field. And then our life changes. Sometimes moment by moment by moment, over a period of time. That's called Kensho. Sometimes immediately, that's Satori. So between the movement of Kensho, a slow burn of cleaning up the filters, and the immediate Satori of, I got it, oh my God, it's happening now. Our life goes on an arc of unfoldment, of which we are participating in. We're at the stage of our evolution. We're at the apex of an old form of evolution, the beginning of a new stage of evolution. The old form of evolution is that circumstances guide the evolution. The new form of evolution is that we participate in it. It's conscious evolution. We are participating in it regardless of condition, circumstance, situations. We choose by expanded awareness to tap into our wholeness, into that quantum field, and be conscious that the entire universe is for us and that there's nothing against us. We want to wake up every single day with that sense of gratitude, walk with that feeling tone, and then we're pulled by something so magnificent about us. Now, let us enter into that field together. I invite you to close the outer eye and begin to feel within your own heart and soul right now, just a deep sense of gratitude for anything at all. A deep sense of thankfulness for anything at all. A deep sense of appreciation for anything at all. We begin to notice that when we are in gratitude and thanksgiving and dynamic appreciation, our perceptual windows become so clean and clear, and we're able to see better. We see through the parent's world, the world of effects and circumstances, and we recognize the smile of God in every flower. We recognize the bending of every tree to the divinity that's within us. We recognize the holy ground of the earth breathing its love for us. Our perceptual windows become so clean and clear. We recognize the presence that is never an absence. And now with a deep inhalation, release at the sigh of ah. We feel one with this presence. It's not separate. It's not distant. It's right here. It's right now, our life. And it is from this awareness that the very word that is being spoken right now is truly a vibrational law unto itself that only knows its own unfolding. Spoken with the authority of one knowing that all that there is a manifestation of the only thing that is, which is the light, the love, the beauty, and the intelligence, and the presence that is never absent. I embrace each and every individual that's tuning in right here and right now to this magnificent community, Saturday Night Alive community, knowing as I am lifted up into this rarefied atmosphere of absolute truth, I draw each and every individual into this frequency of wholeness, this quantum field of beauty and of love and intelligence, abundance, that we feel all of our needs met. We feel divine health and wholeness and well-being. We feel transcendent knowledge becoming active within us, creative intelligence. We feel duly supported, connected, and never neglected. We feel it in our bones, in our soul. And we come back again to giving thanks that it is already done in the quantum field. It's already done in the mind heart of the infinite. Now, we're allowing it to be done through us. And we're allowing it to be done as us. Our bones cry out, it is, therefore I am. It is, therefore I am. It is, therefore I am. And so let it be. And so it is. And so it be. Amen.
Wow. It's interesting that on a show that we have focused on healing, that we've wound up with 3 powerful prayers. And remember, Caroline was saying, get on your knees and pray with passion. And I think it's really important for us to notice that. I'm noticing it right now, that there's a consistent power of prayer. Looking forward to what our mystic abbot Jerry might say about that a little bit later on in the show. For those of you who want to know more about Reverend Michael Beckwith, of course, he's the founder of Agape International. Really encourage you to all listen to his Sunday service. He does 3 Sunday services, one early, very early on Sunday mornings. I believe that they're at 6:30, 9 o'clock, and 11 o'clock, 11:30. You can catch them on Facebook or just go to Agape. And I also want to encourage you to go to Reverend Michael's actual website. He has a new website, and he has a really cool new app, the Michael Beckwith app, MBB app. And so if you go to michaelbeckwith.com, michaelbeckwith.com, and first thing it'll do is it'll ask you to subscribe to his new app. And there's a lot of really good things. And it's always, give your name and register so that you can learn all about what Reverend Michael is up to. So thank you, Reverend Michael, for being such an inspiration to us. And to introduce our next wonderful healer presenter, here's my partner, Kristin.
Wonderful. Well, it's an honor to bring on our next presenter. Dr. Michelle LaMasa-Dawson is co-director of Recall Healing International with a doctorate in mind-body medicine. Dr. Michelle has trained in German New Medicine, neuro-emotional technique, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis coaching, and imagery for health. She is certified in mind-body medicine through the Center of Mind-Body Medicine and has over 20 years of experience in education. She loves teaching individuals tools that enable them to make connections, claim past pain, and incorporate healthier ways of being. Recall healing became Dr. Michelle's passion when she witnessed countless testimonies and stories of individuals shifting their health challenges by understanding the underlying meaning behind their issues. She is super excited about sharing her knowledge in recall healing with us tonight, and I am really excited to learn. And thank you for being with us, Dr. Michelle.
Thank you so much. It's just so wonderful to be with all of you and to be in just such an amazing community. It's such a blessing. And so I'm deeply grateful to be with such profound people, and especially thankful to Jerry for just his friendship and inviting me also, because with Jerry, he believed in it, and this friendship developed 9 years ago or 10 years ago. I'm not even sure anymore. So it was really awesome to be a part of that. So you heard that recall healing is my passion, and I'm deeply grateful to my mentor, Dr. Gilbert Renaud, who developed this modality from German New Medicine and total biology and brought it to another level. And so I get to go around the world teaching. Well, I don't go around the world so much anymore, but from my home, it's very, very fun to teach people from around the world. So I want to share with you just a little bit about that, the homeopathic version, as Scott says. So it's very cool. So what recall healing does is it helps people to understand the undercurrent of why they have illness and disease. We don't look at illness and disease as a malfunction. We look at it more like a turbo function. It's what the biology does. And when we connect the biology with our own insights, we end up having many different insights. I'm going to put my timer on here really quickly so that I don't go over. And sorry here, guys. Okay. So the title of our meeting tonight is Healing the Collective Wound Through Love. Well, for me, that love begins with us. And if we have an issue in our body, we say we have an issue in the tissues. When we have this issue, that means that there's something that we have been secretly suffering about. And whenever we secretly suffer about anything, that is going to create a body to come to the rescue, so to speak. So when we're spinning our wheels and we're in sympathetic overdrive, this gives us insight that, hey, we need to look at why we're not at peace. if we're not sleeping, we're not eating, we're really just ruminating about our problem, this is going to ultimately land in our body, because our body will take over to help us. So we look at when a person is ill, that it's like an iceberg, that only 10% of why a person is ill is in their awareness. The rest is beneath the waterline of the iceberg. And so we look very specifically about the life experiences. When a person leaves their home to become independent, including food, shelter, and clothing, this becomes the map of what our brain says, okay, this has served to keep you alive, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And so that's going to repeat in the next, for me, it was 20 years and 5 months. It's very specific. 20 years and 5 months. Everything that happened between that time for me has repeated in the next 20 years and 5 months, and the next 20 years and 5 months. And so I'm in my third cycle. And so when we bring these things into our awareness and we name it, we name the painful places that have occurred in our body or in our life, we claim the pain, we can dump it and move on, and those patterns will stop showing up. We look at underneath that, we look at what we call the project purpose. This is the 18 months before a child is born. So 9 months before conception, everything that mom and dad have experienced in their lives, but have or have not resolved, especially those that they have not resolved, that goes into the ovum, into the semen. And then the conception. Was the child wanted? Were they planned for? What happens when the person realizes that they're pregnant? Is it a good time? For my mom, it wasn't the greatest time. And yet she prayed that I would be a girl. She prayed that a girl was going to help save her life, because she was so traumatized in her youth and given up for adoption. And she didn't think that she could raise boys. She did later, but first it was me. And so that gave me this little message that I have carried in my life. And that message was that a girl was going to save her life. So in my life, I have grown up and I became the recall healing practitioner that helps people to stay alive. I didn't plan that when I was little, but it sort of drove me when I started my life. And so that's how it sort of evolves. I'm also named Michelle for the Beatles song, and my first husband was George and my second husband was John. So these things sort of happen without us even knowing. We think we choose, but we don't choose. We are really on date with destiny. My third husband, and really the love of my life, he's Mark. And I joked and said, oh, I'm done with the Beatles. And somebody said, oh, but you know that Mark so-and-so killed John Lennon. I'm like, no, not that. So it's very interesting. And I also live in Georgia. So it's a very interesting thing that happens, that these patterns will evolve. The last thing that we look at in our work is the ancestors. So we carry the unfinished business of our ancestors. And when we're named for somebody, when we have the same birth order number, we line up with them, as we say. And this vertical download, it's like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, that's exactly true. So children with birth order numbers 1, 4, 7, 10, they carry the same unfinished business of the ancestors. 2, 5, 8, and 11, they carry the same the issues of the ancestors. If you're named for them, if you line up with them, you find all of these patterns repeating in the generations. Well, the hardest thing is when it's really painful, or when we see suicides in the same row, or we see the same kinds of illnesses like cancers and these kinds of things. Some good things can happen as well, like the same professions, but it's also based on the trauma from the unfinished business. And then the 3, 6, 9 children, they also carry the same unfinished business. And so we look at all of this, we create this big picture. And so it's not just if a person is ill right now, what's going on right now, it's all of these things. And we look at that so that we can have the understanding and be able to move beyond this and transform, heal. Sometimes that's a total physical healing. For instance, my grandson, he had a brain tumor 5 years ago. And we found these stories that we found. He was only 5 years old at the time, but he had stories of himself that there was some trauma. He had been bullied in his first year of school. You know, he lined up with my son and my ex-husband. There was all of this unfinished business that hadn't been taken care of. And so as we started naming it and claiming it, Adam, my grandson, he shifted right before our eyes. Within 2 hours, he was a different kid. And this is 5 years later. He just turned 11 years old. Tomorrow is his birthday, and he's doing great. So there's so many stories. You know, Jerry and I were speaking about one where there was a woman who had a 35-pound breast tumor. And the story was that she was a nanny. And one day the husband came home and fired her. She didn't get to say goodbye to the child. And she was so distraught over this. And so this drama created a tumor for her. And it was like she wanted to bring this child back to her and say, oh, you know, I miss you, I love you. And so when she was able to process that, understand that this big trauma and then other things that she had dealt with was really impacting her health, that she make these connections, and within 2 weeks, the tumor had shrunk to half the size. And then over time, in the next few months, it completely dissolved. So we see these kinds of things happen all the time. I had a recent client who had gone to the dentist, and the gas, when she had the gas, it created anaphylactic shock. Well, when we did her timeline and her family tree, we discovered that her ancestor, she had an aunt that she was named for, and she also lined up with her. She carried the same birth order number, and that aunt had died in the Holocaust. And so once she understood that, and then we have these letting go exercises that we use, simple tools, but profound work, especially where we use the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer, Ho'oponopono, where you can connect yourself and you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. It's not our fault for something that's happening, but when we take 100% responsibility for whatever is showing up in our life, we give ourselves and our family the opportunity to heal, transform, and to break the patterns that no longer serve us well. And so that is recall healing in a nutshell. I love what I do, and I'm always happy to help teach people these same tools. And so I'm very grateful that I got to share a little bit about recall healing with you. So thank you all. Oh.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And you know what's going to happen next. I'm going to show people where they can go to learn more about what you're doing.
Awesome.
And the website that we're going to be going to is Recall Healing USA. And here it is. So everybody, you can go to recallhealingusa.com, recallhealingusa.com. And Michelle, is there any particular place on your website that you want people to especially focus on or put their attention?
Well, right now we're just in the middle of transforming our website, including my name. So there's that. But you know, just to say that I teach workshops all the time. They're mostly online, and so I invite anyone that would like to participate. I'm giving a workshop in October, and so I would encourage you to sign up for that and just learn. It's so wonderful because I give you the tools, I teach you the tools, and you can expand upon them and be able to apply them for yourself and to be able to help your family, to help you. And that's truly, for me, that's where it is. When you transform yourself through love and gratitude and understanding, the world transforms.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Hope to see
you.
All right. And now to move us forward, we got something really wonderful about to happen. And tell us all about it, here's Kristin.
That was fascinating, Michelle. Thank you so much. And It's a true honor to introduce our next guest, Gilron Sharma. Wow. I first met Gilron when I was playing a concert on the same bill with him in Haifa, Israel in February of 2020. And I sat backstage watching his show and I thought, wow, this is one of the most empowered peace leaders of our time, using music as a vehicle for awareness, love, peace, and healing. He is a true, courageous artist. And it's just such an honor to have him here. Gilron Sharma is the art director of international cultural and peace-seeking projects. He is an artist of Middle Eastern descent who carries an important message of a new generation, a generation that finds music as the best gateway to peace between neighbors, nations, and nations worldwide. His project, Cafe Halal, presents the joining of the desert and the urban world in a melodious dish that includes Palestinian, Bedouin Jewish, and Arab Israeli sacred chants, ranging from traditional to renewed. Cafe Halal is a real yet imagined space presented in the modern Israeli-Palestinian society, home to a joyous Haifa dancing, a captivating trill of Khaliji and Bedouin music, a longing soul of the Hebrew prayer, celebrating traditions and voicing universally a deep intention of peace. Gilron couldn't be here in person because it is super, super early in the morning and he's actually riding across the desert to partake in a peace concert. And he filmed this incredible video with an Iranian musician in the desert last week and sent it to us just for tonight, all imbued with the energy of love. Here we go.
Shalom, salamu alaikum, welcome. We are here deep in the desert, in a Genesis atmosphere, unbelievable magic hour of the day. Nothing like music from the desert, good friends, to remind us the subject of tonight, love. Love is the biggest force on the universe. Some ancient tribes believed that love is God itself. Ahava, amor, hub. In every language, it's expressing the same magical thing we feel between friends, we feel to the nature. And may God give us the power to feel it more and more and to share love between us. Because love is melting all the separations and all the illusions and all the fear. How we create love? We create love when we inspiring each other with generosity. When we learn to give. When we learn to dissolve into the beauty of life. That is love, and nothing like music. Between us musicians, we know it. Music is something that brings love to the heart with no effort, just like that. We love to come here and to play music, and we want to play you ancient Yemen Hebrew song about friendship, about the beauty and the secret within friendship.
Wasn't that amazing? Oh, just pure energy of love, and the surroundings were just gorgeous. I wanted to mention that the oud player who was playing with Gilron is named Yair Sabari, and you spell his name Yair and then Tzabari. And then we'll show you how to find out more about Gilron and Cafe Halal.
We've got two websites that Gilron provided us. And this one is called Portal. So you go to portl.com/artist/Gil-Ron-Shama-Israel. So I know that's a lot. I'll pop that into the chat box for people. And then he also sent us, Kristin, a second website, which I will take us to in a moment. I loved how that did take us into a really amazing, both music, obviously, but also just visually beautiful, right?
Yes, and just that ancient feel, and I loved how the oud player was also playing while Gilron was talking about love. It just, it has that true essence of what storytelling is really about, that feeling that we're all sitting around and just sharing about an energy. So here's our second link.
Website. It's again another kind of a long one. It's internationalyogafestival.org/presenters/Gil-Ron-Shama. So again, we'll put this into the Zoom room. And
I actually think that might have been where his bio was from, and maybe not a link that Gilron provided. But go check him out. Type in Gil-Ron-Shama, Shama, on YouTube or Spotify. He's on Spotify, and he's got tons of music, and you can see lots of beautiful videos of Cafe Halal on YouTube.
You know, since you spoke about story, I want to briefly just really invite everybody to participate next week. Every 3 months, we collaborate with Teresa Collins and Global Coherence Pulse. And of course, Kristin, you've worked a lot with her. And so next Saturday is that magic day where she's doing a big event during the day. And we're going to put the link in the chat box in a moment where you can register. And definitely come to the daytime program. And then we're going to want to really invite you to, of course, then come back for the Saturday Night Alive program. And so we're inviting you to have an entire day of global coherence. And the theme is new science, new story, new song. New science, new story, new song. And I'm going to play a promotional video that our team put together a little bit later on in the show. But Teresa's with us. She has to go soon. And I just wanted to really make sure everybody knew about what she's got going. And I'm especially excited because Greg Braden is one of our favorite presenters. And Greg will be back with us next Saturday night. So definitely come to her daytime program and come back to our evening program. And as always, share this out with your friends. This is a wonderful way for people to grow our global peace tribe. Let people know about these wonderful things that we are providing every Saturday night.
Teresa always brings magic wherever she goes, and it looks like an amazing lineup.
And the kind of magic she is bringing includes just magic. Just magic will be with us.
This is true.
So I'm going to put the spotlight for a moment on our sponsor and our dear friend, the Mystic Abbot, Jerry Anderson. Jerry travels a lot. The Mystic Monastery is 10,000 acres of pristine, primarily untouched nature, like we're just seeing there in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And because Jerry travels so much, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to join us live. So we did a pre-recorded video. We're going to play the pre-recorded video, but the real Jerry's with us, and it looks like the internet connection's pretty good. And we're going to have the real live Jerry talking with us in our after show. But for right now, to learn more about the Mystic Monastery and to learn a little bit more about Jerry, it's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever shown a pre-recorded video when the person's with us live, but we're always doing things new here. So here we go.
We love new surprises.
Absolutely. Here's Jerry. I am so grateful that we get to spend time with our beloved friend, the wild abbot of the Mystic Monastery, Jerry Anderson. And thank you, Jerry, for all that you're doing for the world, all that you're doing to support our show. Please tell us about the inspiration for the Mystic Monastery and what you're providing.
Well, the direction of everything we'll be providing is in the angle of healing. The inspiration comes from about 5 or 6 years ago. I was in Nevis, an island in the Caribbean, and I turned around, and from speaking to a lady, there was a young person standing there with his arms wide open, ready for a hug. I gives him a hug. I don't know this strange kid. I found out later was 16. I give him a hug, and at the end of the hug, he held on to me. So I gave him another hug, and again, he held on to me. And so I end up giving him a third hug, and we spent the next few days together and almost continuously. And one evening we were laying out in like a ball field underneath the moon, just quietly for maybe 15, 20 minutes. We hadn't spoken. And I noticed that he was crying. He said, I asked him why he was crying. He said, a very simple question, profound question for this show and for the audience of this show. He said, do you have hope? So the Mystic Monastery is going to be a monastery that's a sanctuary for a very unique group of souls on earth. I call them highly sensitive, empathic old souls. And these are the ones that are really experiencing the most tough time on earth because of the amount of intensity of the propaganda and all the other kinds of systems that we have going here. And being sensitive, some of them have told me they can't even go into groups because they're so sensitive to the emotions that even the people themselves don't feel. So the monastery is a sanctuary for highly sensitive old souls to basically live together in community and demonstration of the law of one, as well as all of their needs in the Maslow pyramid of needs. The first whole entire tier across the bottom will be part of how the monastery helps support these souls in their purpose and mission on earth. So that's a little bit about how and what the monastery's origination is. Okay, Scott.
and Jerry, how do people
There is a
get
new
involved?
science.
Like, what's the next step? What are you looking for, and how can?
Wonderful question. Right now, we are at the place of the whole property. 10,000 acres of nature is pure virgin jungle. No electricity, no cell service, modern jungle. I recommend you go to our website if you would like to see some video from the drone of our nature preserve. Our website is Mystic, MYSTIC, Monastery, and then the letters SJB, stands for stjohnbaptist.com. Or you can email me at that same website as Abbott, ABBOT, at the same Mystic Monastery, SJB.com. And we're open to all types of support. We have people a long distance helping with the website. We have other people helping with all different kinds of social media and all those type of things that we have to build up now. So many people can be involved from wherever they are. We appreciate your prayers and blessings that you send to us. everybody could put a little thing on their altar and send us a blessing. Then also we do have quite a few monks already have come as volunteers, as very committed to supporting the foundation and the rollout of the whole entire monastery. The group down there now have established some maybe 5 or 6 gardens of all different kinds of fruits and vegetables. So you can get involved many ways. We have an embassy in Lares, Puerto Rico, up in the mountainous area close to where we're at. So that's some of the ways that you can get involved. We appreciate your help, your support, your prayers in founding our monastery.
And Jerry, of course, tonight's show is all about healing. You're a personal healer. The Mystic Monastery provides healing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's a good question, because we are a very multifaceted approach to healing, and we expect to be some of the most renowned healers, our monks to be some of the best healers in the world. And Michelle's show on the show tonight will show you some of the unique pioneering kinds of things that we will be using as techniques there. Michelle's system of actually triggering different organs and emotions, connecting to them, is a profound new world. Mainly the beginning of all of our work will be, of course, focused around breath work. So the different kinds of techniques and so forth will be all around how a person's breathing really regulates their whole experience on Earth.
And finally, I would love for you to share some of your personal experience about healing through the power of love, as that is what our show's all about tonight.
Well, I have quite a few stories. I have been blessed myself to actually see come through my hands miracles from the other dimension, more miracles than is actually listed in the Bible. And I would say that the number one story I'd like to share is a story that is 21 years old. I was in Austin, Texas, when a mother came to me and said that she had recently had a conception with a man who had AIDS. And she asked that her baby, she didn't even ask for herself, she asked that her baby not have AIDS. And I'm blessed to tell you that the child is now 21, graduate in college in Wisconsin, and the mother, neither one has ever had AIDS. That's the power of love. Love is like, healing work is like being a professional lover, because you have to do healing on people and treat them like it's your mother having a healing, no matter what they smell like or look like or where they came from or whatever. That's a professional healer. So yes, we will graduate the most profound professional healers maybe we have ever saw.
Beautiful. Thank you for giving us just a little taste of who you are and what you're doing. And I know you're going to be with us a lot, and we love you very much, Jerry.
I love you, and thank you for all that you and your show does to profoundly inspire our world.
I had muted myself there. Jerry, thank you. And we're going to play a short testimonial, and I'm actually going to play the original one, Jerry, because the second one you sent me, we had a little issue around it. So this is, do you want to tell us briefly who we're about to see?
Jerry, you're muted.
This is one of our righteous monks that's been with us a little over 4 years, and he's bilingual. You'll not realize his first language is not English, but he gives a heart testimony of what his experience has been over the last 4 years real quickly.
All right, let's meet Andres.
Hello everybody, hey, my name is Andres and I'm part of the Mystic Monastery, and I would like to tell you about my process there. Actually, I'm a monk, and I'd like to tell you a little bit of what I've been learning there the last 4 years. Well, first of all, by interacting with the nature, you start knowing about yourself, knowing about your fears, knowing about the things that you like, knowing about your body, knowing about everything about you. And by the way you start knowing yourself, you can start loving yourself. And by the way you start loving yourself, you can start sharing this love with everything. You can start giving this love with a plant, with a rock, with another person, with everything. So by the way you start doing all those things, you can start building your own truth, your own path, and you can share it, and together we can start building something bigger, which is going to be a lot, very, very, very amazing. And that's the idea. And it doesn't matter if my truth is different of the abbot's truth or the abbot path. It doesn't matter. The idea is to be very inclusive and build something together by the things that you think or I think or the other thing, everything. We can build something together as one and do something really amazing. So I would like to extend the invitation to you to check out all the things that we are doing there, to check all the nature, because it's really amazing. It's a really amazing place, and that's it. That's it. Blessings to all of you, and thank you.
That's very, very beautiful. And thank you, Jerry, for the incredible work that you do with the Mystic Monastery. And so I'm going to bring Kristin back on. I'm going to keep Jerry on. And we all are inviting you to a very special after show. We want to answer any questions that you might have about healing. And I'm going to bring Michelle back on too, actually. So you're going to have, we're all here to answer any questions you might have about healing. And so think about your questions, and it's best actually if you put them in the Q&A section, and I'll go through there. Also, if any of you, I know many of you are healers, caregivers, and any of you that are, if you have a special story you want to share, put that story into the chat box and tell us about it. I also am going to bring up one more time because I really want to encourage all of you to support us. Tonight, we're supporting Saturday Night Alive at the Global Peace Tribe. So a reminder, this is the way that you can take your camera and just put it right up to just take your camera. It's really easy. Put it right up there and bingo, you'll see where you can donate. And it's now tax deductible. And with this, we're going to build a wonderful website, just like I talked about earlier in the show. Also, some people were asking if they don't want to do the camera thing, what's our link? And here it is right here. I'm going to put it back in the chat box. Susie's been putting into the chat box. It's supportgpt.com, support Global Peace Tribe, gpt.com. And it takes you to this page where you can donate, and it's all now tax deductible. So we're really happy about that, really excited about it. And we're looking forward to hearing what your questions and your responses and your stories might be. Kristin, is there anything you'd like to?
Well, I just want to say thank you to all who joined for the main show. And maybe you feel inspired right now to stick around and have more of an interactive experience. Please stay with us. But thank you to all of our speakers, to our luminaries and our creatives. Thank you for being with us. And also, Scott, I just want to say I'm so excited for there to be a Saturday Night Alive website. That's going to be amazing. That is really, it's time, right? And it's going to be big and beautiful, and we're all going to have this hub to go to. So please, definitely, if you feel called to help support the creation of this website, definitely partake in the QR code picture, and let's make that happen together. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And Paulette, I noticed you're still here. I just want to also acknowledge you for holding the space as keeper of the flame during the whole main show. So much gratitude, so much gratitude. I felt your energy just holding and rooting us all into spirit and love and healing.
Yeah, thank you so very, very much. Really, really beautiful. Anything you'd like to share, Paulette, having watched the show and held space tonight?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve, and what my soul is nourished by all of it. So I can't imagine what it must be for our other viewers as well, just to be holding space for such a wonderful experience. I can feel the energy of healing going out through the movement, through the music, through the information, and it will come back to us, and it will vibrate around this planet, and it will do. It is already doing its work. I affirm healing is established, and so it is.
It is.
So it is. Thank you so much.
It is. Thank you, Paulette. That was such an incredible service that you offered.
And as we're doing thank yous, Jay Mayer has created a lovely thank you video for us. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We are about to go into the after show. Looking forward to seeing your questions and your answers. And we also do want to share with people a little bit about our upcoming events. And we're really excited about something that's happening on Tuesday night. On Tuesday night, we are going to have Neil Donald Walsch with us. And Neil's become kind of a regular who's been on Saturday Night Live several times. And what we're going to be doing, we'll be doing this now once a month, where we bring in one of our favorite presenters, and we do it as a Zoom meeting. It's not a Zoom webinar, it's a Zoom meeting, which means that if you want to be on camera, and most people choose to be on camera, you can be, and you're going to interact directly with Neil. He's going to answer questions. It's going to be 2 hours. This upcoming Tuesday night from 6 till 8 p.m. And Neil is beautiful. Of course, he is most famous as the author of the Conversation with God books. But as we've gotten to know him, he's just a beautiful, beautiful soul and a very, very special man. So join us this Tuesday night for Neil Donald Walsch. It's going to be quite an amazing experience, very, very special. I'm going to kind of pepper back and forth between Q&A and after show, and also let you know about a few other upcoming events. But let's go to some of the questions and answers that have come on in. And unfortunately, Caroline had to leave, so she's not going to be with us for Q&A. Michelle asks, how can we call the love in to unity, healing, consciousness, to unite for the places of trauma, both personal, ancestral, karmic, for our souls, for ourself, for the earth, for the water, for the soils, for the animals, for all sentient beings? Well, that is a pretty big question with a lot of possibilities. And I think I'll start by going to Brother Jerry.
That's a perfect question for Michelle.
Michelle, you're up.
Hot potato.
So I would just say that all healing begins with us. And so when you start by just seeing what is in your heart, what is challenging for you, that begins the whole process. And that everything that you do transforms everything else. And it's simple, but it's not easy. And so as we continue on our own road, many things transform. just by saying yes to doing the work.
And I would just add, all healing begins with forgiveness of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry, drawing on that, what are for you the steps of forgiveness? Do you have specific steps or practice for forgiveness you'd like to share?
Yes, it's a little unique, as you would have guessed from the wild habit. I start from a different place. I don't know if you're a fan of Osho, but Osho said a really cool thing. He said there's two things you can do to a question. You can answer the question or take the background of where the question came from away. So I'm going to do that. Take the background out of the question of forgiveness, because really there cannot be forgiveness if you really understand the real law of oneness. It's like, it's another yourself you're going to forgive, right? So it's a whole different kind of, like, you might say, hack in modern terms, that you can just kind of bypass a lot of steps that forgiveness talks about. And I like to put the letters BE in front of forgiveness, and it's before forgiveness. Okay. So you have to, like, forgive to be forgive yourself, your nation, your culture, whatever you're working with at that moment. So realizing that there is just oneness really takes a different approach to the whole idea of forgiveness and healing and so forth.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to actually add a little piece there. Yes, this is Jasmine Bear, by the way. People were asking about her. She's very insistent about being on my lap today. Forgiveness is a beautiful thing, but it's also important to seek to understand each other.
Yes.
And as a coach who's worked so much, I've worked with literally 1,000 couples, and a lot of that work has been repair. And inevitably, no matter how much we love someone, the more time we spend with someone, the more likely we're gonna make a mistake. We're gonna do something that's gonna have a hurtful impact on another human being, no matter how much we love them. And other than dogs, most human beings do need repair when there's been a hurt. And inevitably, then we want to jump to, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel so horrible. Well, you know what happens? Let's say I kept Kristin waiting, and it's had an impact on her. If I go into, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm actually trying to get over it. Or if I go too quickly into, oh my God, I feel so terrible. Now I've made it all about me instead of really dropping into her world. So if we really truly want forgiveness that's real, that's authentic, we got to slow down. We got to spend some time with each other.
Yes, and deep compassion.
And deep compassion. I'll add Jerry to the table here. And so take the time to acknowledge the impact of the choice that was made, how that impacted the other person, and be present to their feelings, be present to their anger. It's okay if Kristin's angry because of a choice that I made. It's okay if someone is hurt or sad, and don't be so fast to get over the discomfort of it. Rather drop into the presence of what is. And then
And oftentimes when they hear the full explanation of what happened from their side, and you understand, it's like a whole different kind of space then.
Exactly. And that's the other side of the understanding, is for the other person then. But if whoever kind of made the mistake or made the choice that caused the hurt, if they can drop into feelings and the consequences of the other, then the other is more likely to be available to understand why I was running late, right? But if I lead with why I was running late, again, I'm making it about me instead of dropping into the impact of my choice.
Yes.
And wait, I'm sorry, I just wanted to add a little bit of,
Yeah, please.
when you change the perception, you change the whole experience. And that allows for more compassion for self and others, and forgiveness. It leads the way.
Yes, the only other thing I would say during the whole show tonight that didn't maybe get answered or said is that one of the most incredible ways we can love somebody is to really listen without judgment.
Wow.
Story I'll tell quick on that is that about 20 years ago, I do my healing work. I appreciate doing it in hot water, and I work in trance. And so this little tiny lady, 120 pounds, started just like pounding the water, flailing and flailing. And my team, they all tried to hold her down. I said, no, just keep her head above the water. And because I knew she wasn't going to last long. Quick story, I took her out of the water, landed her on the land. And when I saw that she was present, I asked her, what was that about? She told me, hang on, guys. She told me that at 8 years old, she was offered as a human sacrifice. And because she survived, her father, quote, quote, locked her in an abandoned car yard on the 3rd level of abandoned car yard. Here's the kicker of the story, guys. She'd been 20 some years in counseling, and she told me that I was the first one she had ever told that story to. That she felt safe enough.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful, Jerry. So there's an interesting question which actually leads to something I wanted to let people know about. But before I do that, Michelle, there's a request, Laura has requested if you would share a letting go ceremony. So in a moment or two, after I answer this question and promote something, would you like to lead a letting go ceremony for everybody?
Sure. So.
Well, in a moment.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So Karen P asks, the vaccination question is being debated everywhere. I'm wondering if anyone there wants to share a perspective. Well, it just so happens because it's being debated that next Friday night on my Straight Talk show, we're going to tackle that. Now, we are not going to go into the medical part of it. We're not going to be promoting vaccination. We're not going to be promoting not getting vaccination. Rather, we're going to talk about how can we have the conversation with each other without shaming each other, without judging each other. It's breaking my heart to see how many people, families, friends are splitting apart because they have such different belief systems about to vax or not to vax. And so next Friday night, I'm bringing in John Kenyon, who's a leading teacher of nonviolent communication. I'm bringing in Jonathan Robinson, bestselling author, and probably another person or two. Larissa Stowe is going to join us. And we're going to have a conversation with each other and with you about how can we talk about this very dynamic topic without falling into judgment, without falling into shame. So please, I want to encourage everybody, join our Straight Talk show. That's next Friday night. It's at 7:30 p.m. Oh, they put on the wrong date. So it's not Sunday, August 20th. It's Friday night, August 20th, Friday, August 20th. And it's not at 10 a.m. I got this poster done at the last minute. It's at 7:30 p.m. So 7:30 p.m. next Friday night at 7:30 Pacific time is when we will tackle this. And it's a very important topic. All right, Michelle, I'm going to put the spotlight on you and to experience what you have to offer here.
Okay, so I'm seeing lots of little comments in the chat, and they're all amazing. Healing the memories and coming to a place of acceptance. Those are so important. And so I just invite all of you to think of a time, maybe even recently, where someone really hurt or angered you. And then close your eyes and just take a breath and think about that. And I think many of you might be familiar with the tapping. And so we do a little bit of a shortcut and we call it the butterfly hug. And when you tap, you really anchor what you say into your body so that there's brain and body acceptance, and it allows that to have some agreement. So just repeat after me and think of that person and how they made you super angry, and say something like, even though they made me so angry and hurt by that action that they did, I love and accept myself. I forgive myself from the bottom of my heart because I was doing the best I could with the resources that I had. I forgive them from the bottom of my heart because they were doing the best they could with the resources that they have. I choose to let this go, to not carry it in my body, so that I can live my life to the fullest. And a deep cleansing breath and release. Sometimes we might not be ready to forgive right away. And so we have a practice called the emotional release technique, where you imagine that person that hurt you so deeply, and you go in nature or in the garage or in your house or somewhere where you can actually get that anger out, because it is important. And we are human beings and we do have anger sometimes. And so you imagine them sitting across from you, and you might want to yell and scream and just say everything that you needed to say. Not to them personally, because most of the time they can't hold that space for you. But you want to get it out. And then you work to a place where you see them as a wounded individual. The wounded little boy, a wounded little girl, doing the best they could with the resources that they have. And then you can do the butterfly hug or the ho'oponopono. So these are just a few little techniques to be able to process. And like I said, it's not always easy. You know, they're simple, but it's not always easy. And it's a work in progress. Progress, not perfection.
One thing I would add is that sometimes we think about forgiveness kind of like from the place of could I or can I? And oftentimes the can't, okay? But the cool thing is the word could is not about your abilities, it's about giving yourself permission to forgive, okay? So it really changes the whole kind of like slant of forgiveness when it's not about can I do that, it's could I do that? And it kind of breaks through that kind of like barrier that forgiveness kind of sometimes has.
That is a great point, Jerry. And the other thing that I would say just about that is that for your brain, the other person does not exist. The brain has only itself to work with. So if you are angry with that person or that person, the brain has only itself, and it will download it into your body. So working to a place where you can come to peace, because I have many people that have had severe trauma. One woman that I worked with, she was severely sexually abused and her mom let it happen. And so she said, we went through the whole session and she said, you know, Michelle, everything sounds great, but I will never forgive the perpetrator. And so I had to think on my feet really quickly because she was in a lot of pain and I wanted to meet her where she was at. And so we found a way. So I said, well, let's help you to come to peace with what happened. So, and about a year later, she came to me and she said, you know, I think I have forgiven him. I think I can move beyond it. And so it's so beautiful because it was that process that she was able to just tap in and forgive for herself so that she could heal. And her body healed in many ways because she was able to move beyond that.
I would say also to Scott about being so vulnerable in the early show is that sometimes we don't know what is not shame or not guilt or not regrets, not all these things. And in our mind, they can't think of what is not. So we have to know what it is. And so sometimes people talk about their health and they say it's not this disease, it's not that. And I'm like, no, you have to have something that's the positive. So the positive of health, and this is my definition, is all the parts, which includes dimensions of your body joyously cooperating.
Mhm.
Okay. And what is the opposite of shame, guilt, and all these things? Innocence. And
Wow.
Jesus said, "You cannot enter the kingdom of heaven unless you come as a child." And their main attribute is the wonder of the world and innocence.
I'm going to riff on that for a moment. And curiosity. You know, let's
Yeah.
always be curious instead of why did you do that? Why did you do that? Just be curious, right? Hey, here's a question that came in very specifically for you, Jerry, from Janelle, who's in the audience. She says, "Aloha. I am a mystic and Reiki master and also a secular branch member of the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary. I'm wondering how the church embraces Abbot Jerry's mystic monastery, as I myself have not really advertised my gifts amongst my parish."
Well, I have to first be real vulnerably honest that I never in my life ever thought I would have anything to do with an organized religion. But you know, the universe uses you how you get used. And so I can only answer her question this way. We are not under any kind of religious boundaries or hierarchy above us. All of the hierarchy above us, when they found out what we wanted to do from a mystic point of view, they're like, "No, we don't want to support you." So we are out of any kind of hierarchy. I will say this though, that for the audience that knows the Gospel of St. Thomas, one of the books discovered in 1949 and not changed over time to fit everybody's culture. We are at the monastery have a very unique gift. And again, if it wouldn't have come from the universe, we couldn't have had it because it's a 2,000-year-long gift. If you can imagine, I am actually ordained and anointed under the same anointing that comes all the way from St. Thomas in India in 54 AD. So that's kind of the lineage we have, very directed, I'll have to say, also by St. Germain. From the very beginning of this project, St. Germain has been the main guide for the whole development for the last thousands of years, however long it's been in process.
Oh, beautiful. Somebody asked what my Sacred Sunday show is going to be. Thank you very much. And it's going to be Deborah Poneman. You might recall, those of you who watched last week's show, we had Deborah on speaking as a doctor, but really her main thing is teaching how to have greater success and abundance. So join me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's going to be a really dynamic conversation with Deborah Poneman. She's the founder of Yes to Success seminars. That's Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Pacific time. We will take questions from the audience, but it's important for you to go into the Zoom room. And I will post the link in the Zoom room or for the Zoom room to you in a little bit. So come on into the Zoom room, join us. We will take questions. I want to let people know about a couple of other things, including next week's show. It's going to be really powerful. And so here is a video that our team, I want to thank our wonderful team of Alan and Son, Diana Maxwell, and Teresa Collins, who put together the promo video for next week's show. Let's take a look at it.
There is a new science, inspiring a new story and giving birth to a new song. The emerging new science is a cosmology of consciousness and of love. It tells a new yet ancient story of interconnectedness and meaning, and is inviting us to sing a new song together that co-creates and interweaves with the songlines of a new earth and aligns with the evolutionary impulse of the entire cosmos. Join us on Saturday Night Alive on August 21st for an evening of exploration and experience of this new science, story, and song, with our guests Jude Curvin, Greg Braden, Michael Linfield, Marshall Lefferts, Jess Magic, True Osborne, Gary Malkin, Sarah McCrum, Wendy Grace, and your co-hosts for the evening, Teresa Collins and Scott Katamas. Register now at globalpeacetribe.com for this love-filled evening event. Your presence will enrich the symphony of love that we will generate together.
So definitely join us next Saturday. And I do apologize. Zoom has changed their settings. And I'm going to have to figure it out because there's weird things happening that have never happened before when I'm showing my videos. So I apologize for that. It, as best as I can tell, is a change in the Zoom settings that we're going to have to figure out. But please do join us. And again, remember that you can get a double dose of Global Coherence next Saturday. Do come during the day at noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern. Jude and Gary Malkin and Teresa Collins and Claudia Weiss. It's going to be very powerful. And then do join us Saturday night where we have all of those people as well as Greg Braden and several others. We're going to have time for just one more question. I'm actually going to share something that came in to our chat box. And what I will do is I will copy the chat box and send it to our presenters, and some of them may feedback. But there's something really beautiful. John Held writes, what Michelle just described is what I've watched for 27 years, helping people beginning with Vietnam era vets. After being able to release anger in the imagination, compassion occurs spontaneously. So I call it compassion with protection. Instead of forgiveness, which people often interpret as indicating what happened wasn't very harmful. Anger calls attention to harm. So we need to know we can protect ourselves or others, and that can be done without harming the person in the imagination. That's beautiful, John. That is really, really beautiful. And I really want to acknowledge all the people in our chat box. There's been some wonderful comments, and I love it. We still have over 200 people in our Zoom room. It's also after midnight for Kristin and our East Coast friends. So I'm going to go to gallery view and give each of our primary presenters, actually I'll go to Kristin, a chance to say some final thoughts and a final good night.
Oh, well, thank you, Scott. Yes, it's getting late here, but I feel still awake in my heart. And it's been beautiful to be here tonight. So many deep, profound, loving, healing thoughts, vibrations shared. When we come together like this, when we listen to each other, when we are willing to be present, both to bliss, but also present to the challenges and present to the uncomfortable moments with each other and the world. That new kind of presence that we are learning to attune to is the highest form of love. Our willingness to be present to whatever comes in this moment. And in that, knowing that we can handle and face and love ourselves into every moment. I just feel so inspired by so many of the thoughts that were shared tonight, and I just wanted to share that last feeling that I had. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And may we just continue to meet like this with open arms, open hearts, open spirits, and a willingness to love on ever more higher levels each time.
Oh. Kristin, just came in. I noticed throughout the night, so many people say, I love Kristin as a co-host. Kristin is great. And so one of our regulars, Ayada, writes, Kristin, I so enjoyed your co-hosting tonight. Your presence is always uplifting and deeply loving. Thank you. And I think that she speaks for the 1,000 people who watched the show tonight, and although we'll watch the replays. Absolutely true.
Thank you so much. Ayada? Is
Ayana,
her name?
yes.
Ayana.
Ayana,
Beautiful
with
name.
a T, with a T.
Ayada. Beautiful name. Thank you so
Ayana
much.
Ayala. Ayana Ayala.
Wow. Sounds like a song.
Somebody else just wrote, well, it's all coming in now. Kristin's a great host. We love Kristin. Kristin speaks truth. So
Oh,
a lot
I
of love.
energy hug you guys. Big energy. Let's just energy hug each other for a minute. Oh, we have to just keep the hugs flowing, right? I think we're all starving for hugs these days.
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I
love you.
Love you so much, Kristin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. It's always it's a joy to work with you and to be your friend. And
That's true.
thank you to Saturday Night Alive for all that you do. You have built an empowered, loving community, and I just love playing in this field with you. Thank you, Scott.
Michelle, can I give you a chance? Any last thoughts you'd like to share?
I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful group. And don't forget to love yourself and to begin that process, to have compassion and love and to move through the patterns that no longer serve you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. And our dear friend and our sponsor, Jerry. Any final thoughts, Jerry?
Yes, recently I had some t-shirts made up. Actually, they were polo shirts that said, "Learning to love yourself is the beginning of a lifelong romance."
That's beautiful.
That's great.
I have two final things that I want to present and promote to people. And the first is, our dear friend, Mark Sims, is putting together something very, very special. And it's his Making Contact show. And it's going to be a whole week-long series of events. And let me pull up, I had the website and I actually accidentally closed it. So let me bring that back up. But if you all go to makingcontact.com, makingcontact.com, and he's got really like the who's who of amazing presenters who understand what really is going on. And I've been in the UFO field for about 35 years. I've produced a lot of television shows about it. And truly, it is coming to a head right now. There is so much going on. So I want to invite all of you to go to makingcontact.com and you can save some money. He has generously given SNA Save 100. And maybe Susie will put that into the chat box for us and into Facebook. If you go to makingcontact.com, and then I'll kind of show how you do it. You go to register and you go, add cart. And normally it's $249, but if you put in SNA Save 100 and apply the coupon, bingo, the whole week drops down to $149. So you want to do that. You definitely want to go to Making Contact. It's a whole week-long event, and it's incredible what he's created. It's going to be a whole virtual world that we will be able to come into. Everybody gets their own avatar. It's going to be remarkable. So let's all do that. It's August 18th is when it starts. The very last announcement I want to make is a very unique one. Some of you may have seen my Sacred Sunday show last Sunday, in which we honored Richard Chisholm. He's a longtime friend who's got a terminal cancer. And Richard has chosen to have a legal euthanasia exit from his body. And we are going to come together and honor Richard one more time. And it's going to be on Monday, August 16th. And Richard actually has invited the doctor that he's working with to be there with him. And he may choose to actually leave as we're holding space for him, as we're praying for him, as we're singing for him. He has said, you know, I don't want to guarantee that people are going to watch me die. So just being honest about that. He also has trouble communicating. It's hard for him to verbally talk because of the pain, but he is ready to go. And so we are coming together to help him to exit. And so we're going to honor him. I'm collaborating with my dear friend, Larissa Stowe. And we're actually going to be carrying it at the same time that she has her weekly Shakti Love Warriors program, which she does every day at 11 o'clock. And Richard, if he's ready, will be leaving as we help guide him out. Obviously, I've never done this on camera before. We're going to have to be very flexible about how it goes. It may just be putting Richard in a circle, praying for him for a little bit, and then turning off the camera and letting Richard have his own experience. We're going to be very spontaneous, but it's going to be special and it's going to be sacred. And so you're welcome to join us in the Zoom room. And I'll put that link into the chat box. And you know, it's as we look at all these different experiences, whether it's Richard leaving his body in a conscious way as we all see him through to the next side, to the other side, whether it's a conversation with Neil Donald Walsh, whether it's a conversation with Deborah Poneman, or making contact week-long, or next week's Global Coherence Pulse. Look at how many wonderful, amazing things we are all doing together as the Global Peace Tribe. And this is our time. It's our time to come together, to support each other, to support the wild abbot, Jerry, and the Mystic Monastery. And I just want to thank all of you who are watching. And it's amazing, we still have 185 people with us. And that's just in the Zoom room. And then, of course, all of you watching on Facebook. And the thousands that will watch the replay. More and more people are watching our replay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this tribe. Thank you for your commitment to playing your role in changing consciousness, waking up, the role that we're all playing as we do our personal work and as we do whatever our Dharma is. And for some of you, it's a time of rest. For some of you, it's a time of activity. There's no right or wrong. Just tune in, ask, what would love do through me today? What would love do through me today? So I don't know, I'll be seeing all of you one way or another, whether it's tomorrow in my Sacred Sunday show, Monday as we say goodbye to Richard, Tuesday with Neil Donald Walsh, later in the week when Making Contact begins, or next Friday night as we talk about how to communicate in a loving way, whether you're anti-vax or pro-vax, it doesn't matter. Let's learn how to talk about it in a way that's honoring of all belief systems. And of course, next Saturday, a full day of Global Coherence Pulse with Teresa Collins, Greg Braden, and many other luminaries. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you again, Mystic Monastery and the Wild Abbot. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I will save the chat. I will send it out to everybody. Oh my God, Kristin's still here. So I will go to gallery view one last time. Michelle is still here. And Susie, thank you, Susie, so much for all your wonderful work of sharing with people. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Have a beautiful